first of all, the author of Paradise Lost is John Milton, and he was born December 1608 and died November 8th, 1674. And he was an English poet. This is a scholarly man of letters and a civil servant for the Commonwealth of England under Oliver Cromwell. He actually got arrested by Charles II's army for that. And basically, Paradise Lost is about Satan's temptation of Adam and Eve and their expulsion from Eden. And Paradise Lost is considered Milton's greatest epic poem. And it has 12 books. And one thing to know is that Satan is the antagonist, and Adam and Eve are the protagonists. But in book one, Milton starts off with book one with the invocation. The first lines, 1 through 26, he just proclaims that his poem is going to be one of the greatest epic poems because it's inspired by God.
But he's still humble.
Yeah, he is. Because he gives all his credit to God.
I'm the best, but.
Yeah. And it's the first English epic. In lines 27 through 722, Milton begins.
Wow.
Yeah. This is where he begins his fictional story, which can be like, if you really know Genesis and then like you read this book, you could get it confused with the actual Bible because he uses really good references, and then he makes up his own like details of what he thinks happened. And this is after his invocation. He starts off with this story of Satan in hell after his armies were defeated and thrown out by God. And he has a conversation, and they decide that, oh, God has cast them out into the lake of fire. And they decide that they're going to leave it and make a palace. And then once they, and it's important that the reader know that Satan can only do all these actions because he was chained inside the lake of fire. But they just broke, well, they didn't really break free, but God let them come out of it and onto a dry land that was next to the lake of fire and create their own palace. And they held a meeting, and then they decided that they would, for the rest of their existence, they would just prefer anything that God tried to make good, anything that he did. But an interesting thought is that for the first 3 books, Satan is the antagonist, but he is the main character, and he is the force within the book throughout the whole epic poem. And he's portrayed as a military hero with his army and fallen angels. And Milton lets the reader sympathize with Satan. He gives a pretty long monologue in book 1. And he kind of regrets things, but he felt like he couldn't go back because it's too shameful, it's too prideful.
Did you guys see Percy Jackson, the movie?
No.
Yeah.
Where Satan is portrayed in that movie, in Persephone? Do you know what I'm talking about? You didn't see that? When the characters go to hell? Well, it's interesting to consider where our conceptions of hell come from, and what's said about hell and Satan in the Bible versus what we've created from other writings. Because there's really not a whole lot in the Bible about hell.
Right.
Here you go.
Yeah.
And, well, if you guys want to, you should read it. It's a really good book, or epic poem. Has a lot of interesting things, like how sin and death came to be. And he portrays sin and death as actual living beings, kind of. And here's a video on book 1.
Say first, for heaven hides nothing from thy view, nor the deep tract of hell. Say first what cause moved our grandparents in that happy state, favored of heaven so highly to fall off from their Creator, and transgress his will for one restraint, lords of the world besides. Who first seduced them to that foul revolt? The infernal serpent. He it was whose guile stirred up with envy and revenge to deceive the mother of mankind. What time his pride had cast him out from heaven, with all his host of rebel angels, by whose aid aspiring to set himself in glory above his peers. He trusted to have equaled the Most High if he opposed, and with ambitious aim against the throne and monarchy of God, raised impious war in heaven and battle proud, with vain attempt. Him, the almighty power hurled headlong flaming from the ethereal sky, with hideous ruin and combustion down to bottomless perdition, there to dwell in adamantine chains and penal fire, who durst defy the omnipotent to arms. 9 times the space that measures day and night to mortal men, he with his horde crew lay vanquished, rolling in the fiery gulf, confounded though immortal. But his doom reserved him to more wrath, for now the thought both of lost happiness and lasting pain torments him. Round he throws his baleful eyes that witness huge affliction and dismay, mixed with obdurate pride and steadfast hate, at once as far as angels can he views. The dismal situation, waste and wild, a dungeon horrible on all sides round, as one great furnace flame, yet from those flames no light, but rather darkness visible.
Okay, we've had enough.
I should have like an epilepsy one.
I know, like, who has time to sit there and animate Paradise Lost?
So he soon was breaking the horrid silence thus began.
It's kind of freaking me out.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, it's so far.
Can you stop it?
Please
Stop
be
it.
stalled.
Yeah, that's it.
We have bad dreams tonight.
Thank you.